What is going on, everybody? DeathSpread here. You saw the title and thumbnail. Let's jump right into it. Tip number 1. The GS45 should have a zombies build. We'll get into why later. The zombies build should have, at the very minimum, these two attachments, akimbo and silencers. Now, akimbo because obviously you have double the firing power and yada yada yada, and it turns into the Mustang and Sally when you pack punch it. Nowadays called Sally 4th. I don't know if that's a car reference or something. I have no idea what it's called that, but regardless, the Mustang and Sally. I'm just going to call it that from now on. The Mustang and Sally are the best weapons to do this with. Flat out, full stop. And there's nothing that even comes close to it in the silencers you want, because you get extra salvage per kill. And when I say that, I don't mean you get like 100 salvage whenever it drops. I just mean you have a higher chance of the salvage dropping whenever you kill someone. So you just want the silencers and you want the akimbo. Everything else is up to you. I recommend extended mags as one. Some people like quick mags. I don't know. Totally up to you. But either way, you want to set a zombies build as the akimbo and the silencers. Also a extended mag, in my opinion. Tip number 2. Gobblegums. Perkaholic, Wall Power, Hidden Power, Wunderbar, and Who's Keeping Score are the 5 I chose. Minimum, you should have Perkaholic, Wall Power, and Hidden Power. Now, Wall Power is extremely important in this, because when you load up, you're going to want to go straight to the Gobblegum and try to get Wall Power as soon as you can. When you get Wall Power, you want to pop it and go by the GS45 in the starting room, and bam, right there you have akimbo, Mustang and Sally. But your issue there is Mustang and Sally will hurt you. So you want Perkaholic, because that gives you automatically PhD. And when you have PhD, you don't get hurt by explosive damage, your own splash damage. But you want this to be easy and fast. You need it to be. So you also want Hidden Power, which increases your rarity to orange tier. So right off the bat, if you're lucky enough the first 3 rounds, if not by probably the 5th or 6th round, honestly, you have Perkaholic, all perks, specifically PhD. You have orange tier gun, and you have a 1-pack-a-punched Mustang and Sally. You are set for the game, and you can just speed run it from there. That is how you do this. There is no other way in my eyes that is as easy to do this egg as that right there. Mustang and Sally off the wall, orange tier, Perkaholic with PhD. Now, Wunderbar I recommend, because that allows you to get a wonder weapon out of the box, and if you can do that, and you can get the jet gun, you can skip almost like 25 to 30% of the egg immediately. And then, if you get the ray gun, that's fine, but we'll get into that later. Who's Keeping Score is just one I use because double extra points, and having points is always important, obviously. So, always hit the Perkaholic, yeah. Always hit the Gobblegum machine until you get set up for the remainder of the game. And I highly, highly recommend Perkaholic, Wall Power, and Hidden Power. And then just buy GS45 immediately off the wall after you get, at the very least, Wall Power and Perkaholic. Tip number 3. Aether Shroud is hugely recommended. I did this with Healing Aura. I wish I got Aether Shroud. I should have honestly used my permanent unlock for prestiging on the Aether Shroud, but I used on Chopper Gunner because I wanted to do the Terminus Easter egg, which worked out. But not the point here. Aether Shroud allows you to, if you don't get the jet gun in the box using Wunderbar, then at the very least it makes it easier to build a jet gun when you're doing the water valve step, because you need the time in order to build up pressure in the water valve, which, as they're infinitely spawning during that step, it makes life so much easier. So I highly recommend that. And also it makes life incredibly easier when you go and kill the boss zombies in the waves. You have the Mangler and you have the Abomination. Just being able to be invisible to the zombies for a short amount of time and just wrecking them, it makes this egg so much faster. It's not even funny. Again, I did it without it. It is possible without it. Just not as easy. Tip number 4. You run faster with the knife equipped than anything else, even the pistols. Side note, the knife is a 1-hit kill until round 4. So why this is important is, when you have the canisters on your back during the 2 steps where you need to bring the canisters back to Dr. Panos, you want to have the knife equipped because it just makes you go faster. And in general, you're trying to run around quickly, right? So get the knife. You go wicked fast. And if you have Perkaholic, you also have stamina. Look at that. Now you can go really fast, right? So I recommend highly always equipping the knife whenever you're not killing. If you're not killing, don't keep the gun out idling. Use the knife. Just hold down melee and run around. And to make it go really fast, just use the knife for the first 4 rounds, because you can just one-hit them, bam, 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 done. And that leads into tip number 5. Rampage Inducer until either the water pressure valve or when you get the jet gun to suck in the parts. Now, the reason why that's split is when you get to the water pressure valve, They're infinitely spawning, as I already said. You want to not have them run at you in Mach 1 when you have to stand still. You want time to be able to think, coordinate, plan, and execute. Also, if you do get the jet gun, you don't need the water valve step, then you're going to want time to be able to suck in the parts when you're running around the map trying to build the LTG. So either way, you want to turn the Rampage Inducer on immediately and then off at either the water valve step or sucking in the part steps. And I do recommend keeping it off after that, because you're going to want time to be able to focus fire on the boss zombie when you're doing the rounds where you spawn them in to capture them in the LTG device. So I mean, it's good. It does speed it up by probably 2 or 3 minutes overall, but it's not imperative to turn Rampage Inducer on, but I do highly recommend it. Tip number 6, beeline it straight to the box. I mean, there's no other way to put it. If you can get Wunderbar, you want to beeline it to the box. That way, again, you can skip the building steps of the jet gun. And it's not a whole lot, I'll admit. It's not that hard to build a jet gun, but it is like a 1.5-minute process if you have everything set up immediately. And if you can just go straight to the box, and if you're lucky enough to get the jet gun, then again, you're skipping steps that you don't need to worry about. And that leads me, ironically, to tip number 7. If you get the jet gun, great. If not, you have the ray gun. The ray gun's great. It's a great backup weapon. You have PhD if you have Perkaholic, so you don't have to worry about splash damage. It's a very powerful wonder weapon. It is a wonder weapon at the end of the day. It's a very powerful weapon. And even if it's not Pack-a-Punch, it's still good to have because it wrecks the Mangler cannons on the arm of the Manglers. I mean, it's awesome. So don't be despaired if you don't have the jet gun straight out of the box. You can use another Wunderbar if you want to try and get the jet gun, but I think personally it's a waste. You know, it is what it is. Tip number 8, buy the Mangler Canon ASAP if you need. Now, the Manglers don't spawn until I think around 9 to 11, and there is a chance that they won't drop the Mangler Canon. Even if you do shoot their arm off, there's still a chance they won't drop it. I recommend spending the salvage on the Mangler Canon ASAP, because you don't need the salvage. You really don't. You already have an orange tier weapon, and either way, you're going to have a wonder weapon, so you don't need the salvage. You just want to spend it on the Mangler Canon. And I say this assuming that you get the ray gun. This tip is only good if you get the ray gun out of the box using Wunderbar. And that's obviously because if you are buying the Mangler Canon, it's because you need to do the step where you get the electrical wire in the side store next to the comic book store. If you get the jet gun, ignore the step. Ignore this tip, because there's no need to buy the Mangler Cannon, in which case you're good. You can spend the salvage on whatever you want. Tip number 9, when you're carrying the canisters, you can jump. This actually took me a while to learn. I don't know why. I don't know if this is common knowledge for everybody, and I'm sorry if it is. Maybe this is a worthless tip to put in here. You can jump when you have the canister on your back during the egg. Obviously use the knife like I said earlier, but don't be afraid to, you know, jump over a car or something if you're trying to quick walk, I guess, your way over back to the church. It makes life easier to know that you can jump. I don't know why I didn't know this until my 3rd or 4th completion of the egg, but it just makes life easier. And finally, tip number 10, Pack-a-Punch during the boss battle if possible, but keep enough points to buy ammo. That is very important. Very, very important. Because if you Pack-a-Punch twice, right? And let's say you have 17,000 points and you spend 15,000 points to Pack-a-Punch twice on the Mustang and Sally, that's great. You can do a lot of damage, and maybe you don't need a lot of ammo, but guess what? Now ammo's going to cost you 2,500, and now you're going to have to focus on killing to get points. And if you're not careful with your ammo, you're not going to have enough points, and you have to switch over to ray gun, which is less effective because of pack-punching the already pack-punch once Mustang and Sally, which is totally understandable. So only pack-punch if you use the... only pack-punch if you have enough points. And I do recommend using Who's Keeping Score for that. There is argument to be made that you can maybe use Frenzy Guard or some other field upgrade if you replace Who's Keeping Score with Idolize. And Idolize, you can easily do the boss battle, honestly. Once you have the named Mangler spawn in, you can pretty much just breeze walk your way through. But at the same time, I feel like that A might be a waste for Idolize, honestly, because I feel like Idolize is better for the Terminus Easter egg, in my own opinion. And B, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I mean, you know, if you use Idolize, then you're not going to have Who's Keeping Score, meaning you have less points. If you have less points, then I don't recommend pack-punching a second time. You should do this by around 13 or 14. It shouldn't be that difficult. So it doesn't really matter. This one is just more so an honest tip if you're going to have Who's Keeping Score and not Idolize. I would only pack punch if you absolutely have, like, you know, 7,500 points saved up so you can buy ammo 3 different times during the course of the ending of the boss fight, because by the time you pack punch the second time, you're probably going to be at least halfway through the boss fight. So let's just recap the 10 tips that I talked about here today. Tip number 1, GS45 akimbo with silencer. Tip number 2, Gobblegums. I recommend Perkaholic, Wall Power, Hidden Power, Wunderbar, Who's Keeping Score, or Idolize. Tip number 3, Aether Shroud. Tip number 4, you run faster with the knife than the pistols. Tip number 5, Rampage Inducer until either the water pressure valve, or if you do get the jet gun, sucking in the parts. Tip number 6, beeline it straight to the box so you don't have to worry about building a jet gun. Tip number 7, if you get the jet gun, great. If not, don't worry about the ray gun, it's great. Tip number 8, buy the Mangler Canon ASAP if you do get the ray gun out of the box. Tip number 9, when carrying the canisters, you can jump. That's a little stupid, but it helped me. And tip number 10, pack punch during the boss battle if possible. And always keep enough points to buy ammo. So I hope this really helped you guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. These guides have been amazingly supported by you guys. I appreciate you so much. I really do mean it. I know every YouTuber sounds like this. Oh, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Right? No, honestly. I've been doing this for almost exactly 12 years as of December 1st, and I've never felt like you guys, and by you guys, I don't mean you specifically, but like the people who watch these videos have gathered around a type of video this consistently. And I really feel like these might be helping people from the comments and everybody reaching out. So I just thank you, each and every one of you, so much for showing that these are useful. These help. I can't say how much that means to me. So thank you all so much. We're getting close to monetization, which is insane. I've been doing this for 12 years just about, and I've never once been monetized. I've never once made a dime from YouTube. And the fact that I'm looking at the stats and it showing that it might actually work out, that means so much to me. I can't express it. So thank you, each and every one of you, for watching the video. Anybody and everybody who's ever liked, commented, subscribed, and please share this video if you think that it'll help other people. These are tips that I found personally just by my own experience doing the egg 4 or 5 times. And when I got this calling card on the live stream, it was honestly pretty simple. So I hope this helped. And yeah, that's all I got to say. If you guys have any of your own tips, please leave them in the comments. And that's just not to have interaction. Again, a lot of YouTubers do say, you know, what do you think of this or this or that? You guys have had honest discussions in the last 2 guides that I've made about Easter eggs in COD Zombies, and I've learned things myself 2, 3, 4 times. So the discussions you guys have are meant to help you guys out. It does help the video get acknowledged with the algorithm. I will be transparent and admit that if you guys don't know how YouTube works. But honestly, please let everybody else know your own tips and your thoughts and opinions about this guide in the comments, and let me know what you guys think you might want to have a tip on next. This is a little bit less well known than the others. You know, this isn't a page 13 fight, but hey, it's a fun little challenge, and I think that these 10 tips got me through it, and I think they might help you too. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button, show support, because more and more videos just like this one. Remember, somebody somewhere does love you, even if they don't know it yet. I don't say that just to say that. I say that honestly. You are loved, and if you are not currently loved, you are. Even if that person who loves you doesn't know they love you yet, you're loved. And if nothing else, remember, Jesus loves you. God bless you guys. Have a blessed rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys, and goodbye.